Welcome to another Baby Theater. Today, we're going to actually be talking about a place. It's called Amass. And in this place is something called a collection of something called cotton wool. Well, to really explain this place, it's really best if I explain what a cotton wool is first. So, imagine every person that's ever lived. And now, imagine several different strings that tie all those people and beings together into one. Now, that, you would say, is linear, but at the same time, it's not chronological. So, somebody that's lived in, the 1800s, for example, could be further down the strand of cotton wool than somebody that's lived in the year 4000, right? So, technically, it's not necessarily linear. Now, when you think about it, a lot of times timeline is looked at as a physical line, traveling from point A to point B, for example. And each time is marked on a date or a time, etc., etc. Well, when it really comes down to it, in this aspect, what you're looking at is just a single dot rather than a linear line. So, a person's life is basically a dot. All these things happened in it, and it's a placeholder in that sense. Now, imagine if all of that person's identity, all that person's mind, all that person's concept, ideas, goals, focus, all those things were captured almost like a screenshot and cultivated. Well, now imagine all those dots on those points of that cotton wool. Now, let's say somebody that's born in the year 4000, they start remembering or the person that was born in the 1800s, for example, starts remembering things from the year 4000. It's going to sound trippy, but they're going to go, well, why aren't there XYZ things here? Why is there not this technology? Well, I should just go like this and do this thing, and it should be there. It should do the thing. It should work. Well, one of the things that is interesting about Amass is that it holds these cotton wool, and there are different creatures inside of Amass that do different things. Sometimes they destroy emotion, because that is actually one of the keys to unlocking memories of other lives and things like that. So they suppress any kind of emotion so that it's less likely that they'll escape. Now, whenever a person's born, they're born with a cotton wool, and that cotton wool is recording their life and their dawn, per se. During that lifetime, they're able to access the cotton wool, and they're able to look to at least get a glimpse of what the other dots in the cotton wool know. Now, are these beings of soul? Are they souls in here? No, they're not. they are recordings, and they're close enough that they could be lifelike. They can have their own thoughts. They can have their own emotions. But consider this: if you wanted a way to create AI, would you not just create an advanced technological mind and then record what that mind did, what that mind thought, and then use that influence on the next AI you create as a different set of thoughts and actions, and then so on, so forth, so being? How do you think we learn everything so fast? Programming is a great example. Some people wake up and they're just like programmers. They learn a couple things and they're like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that, but I'm doing it. Other people, it takes a long time for that to learn those kind of things. So it all depends on what influence you have that's in this previous Commonwealth. And that's why we're unlocking that technology, new technology all the time. We need a burp. Okay, here we go. Yay. Yay. We're almost there. We're almost there. Big roll. There we go. Nice. Good one. Good one. Ooh, I get a little spit up here. Don't worry. Don't worry, I got the rag. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, 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 doop. Good job. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. The hungies? That's the hungies? Okay. Okay, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Oops. Okay. You like that? You like that? Ooh, yeah, you like that. Oh, you got something brewing here? Mm-hmm. Got something brewing? There you go. Okay. Okay, you good now? Nice. All right. Uh-oh. Any more burps? Any more burps? Okay. Okay, no problem. We can get more burps out. We can get more burps. Yeah. We can get more burps out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Mm-hmm. Like that? Okay. You like that? Okay. You want to roll over this way? All right. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Is that good? Okay. Oh, you baby. So, Amass holds these, and it crafts new dots at the end of the Commonwealth. Therefore, it's always expanding, but never expanding, if that makes sense, because the Commonwealth is infinite. They say that if a Commonwealth reaches its peak, which means the Commonwealth made it through every single lifespan in a world, that creates something called an Yai. And the Yai are this incredible being that can conjure worlds. They're also referred to as dreamers sometimes. They're really intense beings, and I mean, they hold all of consciousness of a planet within their grasp. So, but I digress. So Masamao keeps these Kammo there. Now, there is such a thing as a Karimas. A Karimas is when a Kammo escapes, and it can actually attach itself to a living being. So, for example, I have my own Kammo now, but if there was a secondary Kammo, it could actually target me, and it could even erase my whole personality and replace it with one that's a mirror copy of, you know, one of the dots. One of the dots on the Kammo. And it wouldn't really be that person, if that makes sense. It would be a copy of that person. But it's very similar. I mean, it's similar in every way. You know, a lot of times they have movies like Body Snatchers and stuff like that. They'll tell you all about, hey, well, you can see a slight difference. You know, something's off. Something's not right. With the Kammo, you'd never see it. You'd never believe it. You'd never know that anything was different. You see? So that's the interesting thing. And that's what a Karimas is. It's basically a escaped Kammo. There's also something called a Karimas blade. And what that does is that actually allows for creation of a body that Kammo can inhabit. And now getting Kammo in there is beyond belief difficult, but it's possible. It's possible. But you have to have access to Masamao. Now, you have a few people in there that are guarding it. You have Glory. I mean, he is incredibly powerful. And his companion Barrington. And Barrington is ancient. Like, I think he was dreamed before dreams. You know, before the whole dream realm was born. I should say the slumber realm, because it's the dream realm and the nightmare realm collectively. But yeah, Masamao. This has been Baby Theater Places